guys, thanks for coming along tonight. It's going to be somewhat of an informal evening given the small size of the group. So please feel free to call them at any time if you've got questions. But what we'd like to do first of all is introduce our first guest speaker. In fact, what I'd like to do first of all is just give you an idea of what we'd like to do with these forms. Nathan, can you pass me one of those? Thank you. If you could fill in as we go along, or at the end of the evening, just give us an idea of what we're doing and whether or not we're doing it well. Okay. That'll give us some scope for further seminar night, so that'll be great, guys. Thank you. Now, to introduce our first guest speaker, he passes on all his experience to busy people looking to simplify their investment options and wealth creation strategies with high growth potential, using property as their vehicle. Over the last 5 years, he's met thousands of people by way of workshops and personal in-home assessments, and has helped many realise just how many unutilised options they have. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Bonaccorsi from Specialised Property Partners. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, Phil. Hey guys, how are you? Okay, I'll try and make it as entertaining as possible. I'm not really good with the jokes. But the purpose of tonight and having me here, which is truly a pleasure to be here tonight. It's always very welcoming that and his wife Vicky invite me through Nathan to these workshops. What I want to talk to you about tonight in brief is the NRAS scheme. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it stands for the National Rental Affordability Scheme, and it's a scheme that the federal government introduced back in 2008 as a measure to provide more affordable housing in Australia. And it's quite a good scheme, and the big plus for us tonight, I suppose we're here is looking at investment options or real estate investment options, I suppose. Whatever that purpose may be for you, we can discover that later. But I've been involved in the business close to 24 years, and I've never really come across anything from a strategical point of view as an investment for somebody as powerful as NRAS. Okay? So it's a really good opportunity if you haven't heard about NRAS to be here tonight and at least discover the tail and basics of it. I'll play it whichever way you want to go. Like I've got a set out demonstration. Hello, we've got a guest. We've got I've got a presentation I can deliver to you tonight, but if you want me to sort of go step by step and you ask me some questions, I've only got sort of 20 minutes to half an hour to go through it. At the end of the night, where I can extend to you, if it does interest you, to answer anything you may want to know about NRAS on a more personal level, is to have an in-home assessment. Okay? The great thing about property is that in the time I've been involved in it, the demand for it has always increased, regardless of what people's opinions are about that. The truth is that Australia is a very powerful economic country, and it's a great destination for people to live and grow, and there's a lot more opportunity to come. So what I'm saying is that the need for housing in Australia is not depleting, and the supply is decreasing. That's why we've got the NRAS scheme. But the opportunity of NRAS for you, the big bonus is that as an investor, hello Glenn, I'm Robert by the way. Yeah. Okay, welcome along. I'm a guest speaker on behalf of Aussie tonight, and I'm introducing a new concept called NRAS Education. Okay, it's a government, not the NRAS Education, that's our business, but NRAS, the National Rental Affordability Scheme, is a scheme that the government put out in 2008. I don't know if you heard about it. No. Okay, we'll learn a bit about it tonight. But it's an opportunity for you as an investor to buy a brand new property in a high growth area, preferably in the capital city, that's going to give you equal to, or perhaps even higher than average capital growth. But the big bonus, I believe, is that you'll be able to secure that property using someone else's money. In other words, good debt. Borrow some money, fund that property, and the cost of maintaining that property over the next 10 years, assuming that you have an average type income, could possibly be from day one zero cash flow, neutral cash flow from day one, and could actually increase to quite a high positive cash flow situation where you've actually put no capital in yourself apart from maybe a little bit of equity to get you started. Okay? So my background basically was property for a number of years. I worked as a general real estate person. I was very successful at it. As I found out in later life, I wasn't the only person that was disillusioned by the real estate industry at the time. I mean, from an active role, I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people like me that were disillusioned about the industry. And I do have a passion for caring for people and helping them, and I do have a passion for property. So about 5 years ago, I got involved in what I do today, and that's a financial strategist. I don't advise you on investment, but what I will do is pass on my experiences and refer you to people I believe have the qualifications to help you, and you decide for yourself whether those people have the power and the ability to help you. Okay? Because you work hard, you may have raised families, you could be raising families, you've got family commitments, mortgages and things to pay, you sometimes forget that these options are available. And I'm not criticising any particular industry, financial planning, accounting, because at the end of the day, they are businesses themselves. So they can only service the client within the scheme of what their business can provide. Not unlike a doctor, for example, if you're sick and you go to your family doctor, if you need to go to a specialist, that doesn't mean, if your doctor refers you to a specialist, it doesn't mean you stop visiting your doctor forever. Is that fair? So unfortunately, I believe the financial planning and the accountancy businesses have failed their clients overall, because it's not common for those type of people to refer their clients to a specialist when they need be. Doesn't mean they're not capable of doing it. I'm not saying that the particular accountant or financial planner is not capable of doing the job. It's just that their business may not be capable of doing the job at that moment. So, can we just flip that through? Okay. One of the services I offer is to probably put into your foremost point is where you want to go with things. And the NRAS opportunity, I believe, will fast track that. Okay. When I say where you want to go with things, okay, let's face it, one day we're all going to retire. Okay. Let's face it, at certain times of the day, the week, year, your lifetime, you'll be more inclined to want to retire than you did yesterday. Is that fair? And unfortunately, for most people, the only activity that they participate in to create an income for their retirement is super. Okay, and I believe that, having all that cash that someone else is contributing on your behalf for, I suppose it's your money at the end of the day, but it's being mismanaged, where you could take power, you could take control and invest that money into an asset that you have control over, okay? And at the end of the day, it's a very simple rule. If you're going to measure your wealth, you can only measure it by the assets. There's more to life than money, assuming that, but I mean from a financial perspective, the only way you're going to measure your wealth is true assets. That's houses, cash and shares. And I'll put shares right down the bottom, okay? I believe that houses and cash are your main assets that you need to own. So a lot of the assets you may think are assets, a lot of the possessions you have you may think are assets, probably aren't assets, because an asset is something that will go up in value and give you an income as well. So NRAS deals in property. The government is quite concerned that that in certain locations, take your own suburb where you live, But the government is concerned that the people that live in those suburbs, that live there, let's say someone, what suburb do you live in, Bert? Albany Creek, okay. Well, if I lived in Albany Creek 10 years ago and I was renting, the rents in Albany Creek were probably significantly less than what they are today. Okay, now through circumstance, if my wealth has not increased, that I can't afford to buy property 10 years later, the rental costs in Albany Creek are probably going to put me into a situation where I'm going to be displaced. It means that I'm going to have to leave Albany Creek. If I have a family, I mean children and wife, I need to move the kids out of school, take them out of a sports club, and perhaps my wife might have a casual job and she's going to have to quit a job because we're moving from Albany Creek to some other suburb and she's not going to do the job at Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore. Is that fair? Okay, so it's displacing the economy and the people. Okay, so by providing good housing in Albany Creek, for example, someone who's already a good tenant that lives in Albany Creek can take the opportunity of buying a nice 3 or 4 bedroom family home, brick and tile, a house that you couldn't pick from any. It's not a social housing, it's not for desperate, someone who's on the street without accommodation. This is a person, when Nathan's back I'll click the screen and we'll get to what I mean. These are people that are respected in the community, okay? They're good people, they've got good paying jobs. A family man with a wife and 3 children could rent an NRAS property with an income of $100,000. Okay, and that can be a single income, or a combined income. So if Dad's got a decent job and he earns about $100,000 a year, he can apply to rent an NRAS property. So if you're the owner of that NRAS property, you could have Mum, Dad and his children renting that house with an income of $100,000. When he moves into the property, he might do some overtime, he might get a pay rise. He can still stay there if his income is $126,000. Okay? If it goes over that, well then he has to move out. Now he doesn't have to move out tomorrow, but he gets a time frame, it could be 6 to 12 months. He has to move out and then we get another tenant involved. Okay? You can't choose a tenant, but you can refuse a tenant. Okay, so everybody that wants to rent one of these properties has to make a formal application, government application, and those applications will go to your property manager and they will select the tenant for you. But the tenant can then, you have the right of refusal of that tenant. Okay, so you do play, you have all the rights as a normal landlord. They pay a bond, it gets lodged with the state authority, it goes through all the same processes, inspections and care that you would have if you're running any other property. Okay? The difference is that these guys are going to be in there for the longer term. They're going to be 2, 3, maybe even 5-year leases. Okay, so you're not going to have the wear and tear of high turnover. Most real estate agents want to turn tenancies over because it increases their fee income. They get reletting fees, advertising fees, etc. So it's in their interest if the tenant is turning over at a more shorter level, interim level. So that's fantastic. Now we don't deal in selling units as a rule. We more or less look at the suburban house and a decent block of land, a brand new house, a 3 or 4 bedroom property, which we believe, looking at the scope of NRAS, it's an investment you're going to be holding on for at least 10 years. So we're going to buy something that in an area that in 10 years time is going to be far more productive than it is today. Even though today it's a promising area, it'll be far more promising in 10 years time, and you'll have a really good investment, an investment that you've kept for 10 years, an investment that's cost you absolutely nothing out of your pocket, an investment that's actually giving you tax-free income for the first 10 years, and then a massive big payout and capital growth at the end. And if you're smart and look at things now, and when I say smart, if you're smart enough to put aside an hour, 2 hours a day, whatever it takes, to form a strategy, you can buy your 2nd, 3rd, 4th property much sooner. Because from the bank's perspective, you own this property, but it's costing you nothing out of your pocket. And I'm sure Phil would vouch that it's easy to get a loan if you've got less repayments. Is that fair to say? Yeah. So you could buy your second property faster, third property, if you already own an investment property. I might just get you to think that. So what I do for people is just remember that, you know, if I ask you, do you like going on holidays? We all do. What happens when you're on a holiday? You spend more money than when you're home, isn't it? So, you know, when we look at retirement, that's going to be your longest holiday. So if you're broke, as a lot of Australians are when they're retired, you're not going to have much of a lifestyle. Okay, it's definitely going to be nothing like today. Even if you paid your home off, if you don't have $50,000 coming in, it's going to be hard yards on today's standards, okay, and what we're used to. So you need to work that out today, what you want when you retire. If you haven't, if no one's ever brought that up, if your accountant's never said that to you, right, slap him in the face, because I hope no one's an accountant in the room, by the way. He should tell you that. I'll ask you that if you want. I'll help you through that and say, well, okay, if you want an income of 50,000 and you've got 20 years to do it in, I'll show you how we could use NRAS to create the return that we need to create. Because if you need an income of $50,000, you're going to need $1 million in your retirement, isn't it? For 20 years of retirement at least. So if you've got 20 years to do it, we want to save up $50,000. So we need to buy an investment. We need to get a return of $50,000 a year. So we need to find an investment that's going to make us a $50,000 return. And you know, if we can avoid the racetrack, we will. Okay. So we want to do it safely through houses. Okay. So we found most people don't understand these two. So how are you going to choose your investment? They understand it, but they're not fully aware of what they actually need. Once you've established that, then you need to find out, is the risk worth what I'm going to get out of it at the end? If the risk, if the pain's too high, we can then reassess the gain. Okay. So just quickly, there's a lot I can cover, and there's another guest here tonight, obviously after me, and I don't want to talk all night. But what I would want to say to you is that NRAS is truly exciting. Okay. And what I will do for you is give you some numbers quickly. Show you how it works financially, rather than bore you with the actual details of what NRAS is. Because if you like the numbers, I will then give you, in your own time, if you want, I'll come and explain what NRAS is and where the houses are and what you can buy and what you can't buy. Is that fair? Okay. So I'll just grab this. If we bought a property, an NRAS property for $375,000, can I use that? Yeah. Actually, I hope it wasn't someone else. Okay, so we're going to pay $375, and I'm assuming that this is going to be a nice style 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2-garage house. Okay. Now, this house was not necessarily built for NRAS. It's approved for NRAS, but it's a nice estate. It's an estate that I would call a master plan estate, somewhere that you would live yourself perhaps. Okay, it's not. You're not going to be able to pick it out from any other house. Okay? We're going to buy this house as an investment because we know, if we look at statistics, Australian property is increased in value by about 10% each year on average. Regardless of what the media tells you, I do subscribe to what they call political alerts every day. And, you know, we get a lot of negative political alerts, but we get positive ones too. But the thing is that the media never gives us the positives. They always give us the negatives because they don't make money out of property. It's the share market that contributes advertising dollars. Financial planners don't get paid real estate commissions. They get trails for selling investments. Right? And there's going to be a lot of financial planners in a lot of strife soon because they've been telling their clients to buy all these fantastic investments that are worth nothing, you know, GMC. Okay? And if you ask, you know, all of the really rich financial planners I've met, I say, well, how come you're so rich? Well, I own heaps of good beachfront property. Oh, okay. What did you tell your buyer? What did you tell your clients to buy? All those shares that are worth nothing in, you know, part of the GFC. So it's irony at the end of the day. But here's a release. This came out yesterday morning from the Deputy Premier and Attorney General, Minister for Local Government and Special Minister of State, the Honourable Paul Lucas, This is an actual statement from his office. He said the Deputy Premier and Local Government Minister Paul Lucas said a new report showing Queensland was among the best performers for new home sales was good news for the state struggling building and construction industry. So we're leading the way. At the moment, according to the report, the housing industry, that's the HIA, said new home sales soared by 11% in the last 3 months. There's an increase of 1 in 10. So they were selling 10, now they're selling 11. Well ahead of the national increase of 4.3%. So we're pointing to the media, it's all doom and gloom, but nationally, new home sales have gone up 4.3% in the last 3 months, and in the last 3 months in Queensland, it's gone up by 2.5 times that. It's 11%. Okay? So what this report shows us is that our strategies, I'll give you a copy of it anyway. I've got some more now, I'll hand you both a copy of it, it's worth a read. And if you leave your email address inside this folder, I've left one of our cards. Okay, if you leave your details there, I will email you some information about MRAS. Okay, if perhaps you want to make a point. Okay, if we bought this property, I'll just go through this and I'll be done. Okay, if we bought this property for $375,000, okay, and you know, if you go back to when you bought your first house, you know, you'll remember what you paid for it. If we said that it's gone up by 10%, it's probably conservative each year as average. Is that fair to say? Okay. So these areas that we look at have probably gone up by more than 10% over the last 20 years. Okay? So you could expect to make a capital growth of around $37,500 a year for one property. If you have two, over time you're making nearly $70,000 a year, which is that $50,000 you want to create. Is that fair? But okay, we need to buy this as an investment, but we're going to keep it as a business, and the business is we're going to rent it. Now, whether it's an MRAS approved property or your own rental property, which it still is, the rules don't change. The costs are the same. Okay, the costs fall into 5 categories, and they are interest on the loan, your council rates, right? You've got your insurance on the property. You've got maintenance costs. Obviously, you don't want to fall down. You can look after it, and you'll have property management fees that you pay the agent for renting it and collecting the rent. Okay. Now, the interest on the loan would be, this is just an estimate, okay, based on us borrowing $375,000 plus $10,000 in costs. That's your stamp duty, your legals, your bank fees, your accounting costs and stuff like that. We're going to pay out $518 a week in interest, approximately. Okay? The rates on the property per week, well, we don't pay the rates weekly, but per week it'll work out to $42 a week in rates. Okay? Your insurance would be about $700 plus $300 for landlord's insurance, which is $1,000. Okay? So over a year, that's $19 a week for insurance. Now we are buying a brand new house. Right.
Is it buying the cheap one or the sun one that pays out during the floods?
Huh? These ones are in the flood, so you won't have that problem. Okay, I know that for a fact. So they're brand new, so your maintenance is going to be very little. You understand what I mean? So I still allow $15 a week for maintenance. Okay, you probably won't spend that straight away, but let's assume you're banking at $15 for when you need it. Okay. Now the management fee, most real estate agents would probably charge, I don't know, 8%.
Yeah, 7.5%, 8%.
Plus, yeah. So if they're charging 7.5%, you throw in 0.5% for administration costs. You know what I mean? So, okay. Now that $375 property would probably rent for about $340 a week on its own, without the income. Okay. So does that you follow what I mean? It might rent for $350, but I'm going to say it's renting for $340. Under NRAS, because we're going to buy it as an NRAS property, we're going to discount it by 20%. Okay? So we're going to take $68 off the price per week, which means you'll rent it for $272 a week from this new tenant. Okay? Now, under this rule that I'm using, under that rule, you won't pay 8% of the 340. We're going to pay 10% of the 272, which is 20. It's about the same. Okay.
What was the 20% discount?
Same as.
Okay. I haven't got to why you're going to discount it. The why is that the government will give you 100 grand over 10 years if you discount the rent by 20%.
No.
Does that make sense? Okay. So normally it would be 340, so we're going to discount the rent 20% to 272, and then we're going to rent it to someone that still falls into that qualification. Previous to that
So the
rate.
government give you $200 a week, and you discount it by $60 a week.
That's right. In round figures, it is. So I'm just haven't finished yet.
So you can't lose.
Of course not. You're 100,000 in front.
No wonder the government doesn't make any money. You would think it'd be
No,
easy
they
for
will,
you.
because they want you to get wealthy, so they won't have to support you in your retirement. They may not have to, but I don't know in person. But what they're trying to do is minimise the fact that they will have to support less people if more people are buying property, and they'll make a fortune out of saving money out of building the houses that they need to accommodate the 1.5 million people that are qualified to rent these properties. There's 1.5 million Australian families that qualify to rent an NRAS property. There's only 50,000 of them, but there's 1.5 million people that qualify. So you've got a limit, it's unmeasured, the amount of people that can rent the property. So at the end of the day, we're going to pay about $27, and there is an administration charge because they do all the paperwork for you that goes to the government for you to get your money. Okay? So it's going to work out to about $39 a week for management fee. When you add all that up, just quickly, I'm sorry guys, I've got to rush through this, but what I will do is if you want to know more about it, I'll explain it to you without any obligation. It's going to cost you that per week, okay? You're going to get the rent in, which is 272, which leaves you out of pocket $361 per week. You follow? Okay? If we multiply that by 52, that equals $18,772 that you've got as a loss over 12 months, which is deductible against any other taxable income. Okay? On top of that, we've got, believe me, it's around $8,875 in depreciation claims. It's brand new property. $4,875 on the building and $4,000 on fixtures. And there's another $500 each year for your other incidentals, okay? So you've got a tax claim of about $28,147. Okay? So to put it bluntly, what it means for you is that the cost is $633. The rent is $272, which we reduced from $340. And if we claim that $28,140, let's assume your taxable income is $80,000 a year, you would get a tax refund of $177 on average per week. Okay, now depending on how often you get paid, you would get that either weekly, fortnightly, monthly, or quarterly, depending if you're self-employed. Okay? So that's the tax effect that you would get by owning this property, $177 a week. Which means the property is going to cost you $184 a week, which is a good investment. Because you control a $375,000 property, which in theory is going to earn you close to $40,000 of capital growth, and it's costing you $184 a week. But what I haven't mentioned, getting back to why we're here, is NRAS. Okay? Because we've reduced the rent from 340 to 272, the government's going to give us, this year, $9,500 in round figures. Okay? What I do know is that last year it was $9,140. It's guaranteed, right? It goes up with the consumer price index each year, okay? Now that came out this weekend. I've been told it's 4.8%, which means it's going to be over that, but I don't want to quote you exactly because I don't know officially what it is, but it's going to be around that 4 to 5%. So that means that divided by 52 weeks means that you're going to get, in round figures, $184 a week from the government, which means that that property is costing you. Now,
tax-free, then 9,500 tax-free.
tax a week.
After tax.
It's tax-free. It's tax-free, tax-free. 100%. So if you owe the tax office 9,000, you would owe them nothing. If they owed you 9,000, well now they owe you 18,000. Does that make sense? Very powerful. Because this,
What difference does it make if you've got enough in an offset account to offset the interest?
well, you still be miles apart. You still be getting, like I had,
It doesn't change anything.
no, you don't need to borrow money to do this. I'm just giving you that option because most people don't have the cash. I did a client yesterday who's buying one outright. Yeah. So he's going to end up with like $311 cash flow positive, and only $150 of that's taxable. That makes sense, you know what I mean? So he doesn't pay tax on all his cash flow, and he's going to pay on all of it. So, but this, the rent, it will go up each year with CPI as part of the agreement, and this goes up with CPI. So by year 10, you're in the scheme for 10 years, you could be getting 15,000. This could be $180 cash flow positive within a few years. And you can pull out any time you want. But look, our good friend George, it's his turn now. There's a lot that we can cover, and it's not something I couldn't explain to you fully. It's worth investigation. I'll put that card in there. All you need to do, guys, is fill it out, hand it in on the night. I'll email you as much information as I can. But what I do recommend you do is commit an hour of your time, and I'll personally visit you at home. I won't twist your arm, I won't break your arm. I'll just give you the nuts and bolts of what it is and put you at ease with what it is that the NRC is and what it can do for you more important. Okay? So thanks for coming.
Thanks, Robert. Thanks briefly, gentlemen. Our second guest speaker is a man who has extensive experience in the property investment industry. He's the director of Metropole Property Investment Strategists. His knowledge as a property investor and his accounting background help his clients become high net worth property investors. He's been voted as Australia's leading buyer's agent 2008, 2009 and 2010 by readers of Your Investment Property Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome George Kafantaris from Metropole.
Hi, Ron. Hey, the hardest thing for me tonight is keeping it short. Because, you know me, who's ever heard me speak before? You ever one of our large seminars? Yeah, I've got some gifts for you. So the best thing about tonight is you don't have to remember anything, right? I'm going to talk really fast as Greeks normally do. And I'll keep it casual. I just like what's happened before. If you've got any questions, shoot them out. I'm going to give you some books and some material which cover what we're talking about tonight. And at any stage, you know, what I'm offering as well is a free 1-hour consultation with me personally. So you can talk about you. But I'll show you what we do. And I'll just grab a little clicker. If you've got one,
we don't have a clicker.
That's right. Who are we? What do we do? My background is I'm a fully qualified chartered accountant. I'm not giving any accounting advice tonight. I'm a fully licensed real estate agent. I'm one of about 14 people in the country actually licensed to give property investing advice through QPIA in Melbourne, to Deakin University. And but forgetting all of that, I'm actually a property investor myself. So, you know, I've gone through having to get finance, having to get valuations, you know, doing reno, doing development. So we live it as well. We don't just talk about it, we actually live it. The best thing is we've got no property facade. So as a buyer's agent, we work exclusively for the buyer, never for the seller. So, you know, we make our money from being successful in your purchases. And that's what we do. right? I humbly accept awards. You know, I've been voted buyer's agent of the year nationally for the last 3 years in a row. And when I get that recognition, it shocks me because I should not do it for the award. I just do it because I love doing what I'm doing. And I'm an expert for the past 4 years in school, but I was sick and tired of the corporate lifestyle and jumped into my own business. So, is the page down? Page up?
Yeah, or spacebar.
By spacebar?
Yeah.
Right, what do? We assist many of our clients like yourselves grow substantial property portfolios. And the word for me here is not substantial, it's safely. It's got to be done safely, right? And what I'm talking about tonight is what we do. Metropole has got offices in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane. We're not on the Western Seaboard. And our strategy is that we only buy properties in the CBD areas and that have 10-kilometre rent within the CBD. So we don't go regional. So what don't we do? We don't do flips, wraps, options, limited finance, off the plan, regional, housing package. We don't do any of that. So we're members of everything: REIQ, REINSW, REIB, and also the Property Professionals and Investors of Australia. The problem with property is that it's not governed by anybody. So I can see there's someone on a plane and it's going to buy properties in Ohio, and there's no regulations against that, right? So we're one of the founding members of PIPA, who is an organisation trying to get property investors or speakers / scruters governed by the Financial Services Reform Act. Not successful there yet. We've ruffled a few feathers, but that's okay. I don't mind ruffling a few feathers. As was mentioned, I personally won buyer's agent of the year for the last 3 years. We'll get off that. That's your certificates, that's nice. Right, who actually, let's be honest for a second, who actually wants to grow a multi-million-dollar property portfolio? Everyone? Now tell me why. Why is it? Joe?
No, I don't.
You do or you don't?
No.
No?
My portfolio is big enough to sustain me and my wife in our old age.
All right, and how much do you reckon that portfolio roughly worth? All right. Then?
Obviously, your portfolio is sustainable.
Yeah. And I agree with what you said before me. It's not about becoming multi-millionaires and all that sort of stuff. But $1 million portfolio today is not large. And I thought that's a scary part of it. $1 million today, even though it sounds like a lot of money, you can't live off it, even if it's debt-free. Yes, you can't live off it. Right? So unless you have a strategy in place, it's not going to work. Why do you want to grow a portfolio if you do?
What is my size?
No, why do you want to grow a portfolio?
Well, the thing about it is you need to actually grow it because the first thing is you think that 50 grand is fine. But then you think 100 grand is actually fine income. But then you actually find you have to keep on growing because you find that you actually spend a lot more money than you actually need, than you feel you need. And the second thing is that your portfolio has to grow because it's got to allow for any vacancies. And then you actually get a slight sort of urge to actually expand it to make it something that's quite robust. So you have to actually grow it substantially greater. It's like for the safety factor is you need to have probably about double the income of what you actually think you need. And then the second thing is you also have to bring the debt level down so that if something actually happens, you don't go out the back door. So you've got to have a robust income as well as a good size one.
Now, how many people do you think actually achieve what you're talking about right now, right?
Well, probably out of the bunch that I've sort of my friends, probably all of them actually.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm probably the poorest performer and the last cab off the rank. So all my other friends, because I'm a bit like you, and that is I'm an accountant and I was just too conservative. So all the guys that weren't accountants and professionals galloped away and did it, and I was always years behind because I wanted to see them make money, and then I was wanting to do the same. And myself and all the accountants that I used to work with, I've left them. They've all gone behind now. They were still working, but all the other guys are just
most professionals like accountants, engineers, IT people, they're the worst. They overanalyze everything.
Yes.
And
they never get anything done.
They don't. But it's amazing how.
So you're unusual.
Well, yeah, I've been told that. My wife tells me that. But 25% of investors will sell their portfolio within the first 12 months. 50% of investors will sell their portfolio within the first 5 years. Right? So if you're looking for the doubling effect, 50% of investors will sell before they actually ever eventuate. Right? So it's amazing the professionals don't succeed because I have an engineer client today and wants to know every what-if scenario. You can't answer it. You actually can't answer it. What do you believe, or how do you make money in property? How do you believe you make money in property?
Well, I do it slightly different from the way that you mentioned before, and that is on the
I'm not part of this group, by the way.
Oh, okay then.
No, I'm
okay.
not part of this group.
Okay, we're slightly different from the way that this person is doing
Yeah.
it, because the way that that person is pushing it is based on the capital gain out of the 10% capital gain, whereas the way that I've done it is off the margin between the cost of funding and the rental.
He didn't give you all the details, but it's the way it comes back into it is you buy your tax returns.
Right.
So
I
that's
wasn't-
a different topic.
I wasn't part of this conversation, but
Yeah.
I'd say
But that's how I make my money, and that is the difference between the cost of funding and the rental.
Right.
And I
so you know it's cash flow
that.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I
Yes.
say, in our experience, I'll talk about our experience only, cash flow positive is a very, very, very slow way to actually make money. And depending on the size of the cash flow positive, you need a substantial portfolio where there are other ways, and I'm not saying our ways that are all worse than anybody else's, but if you actually understand how to fund property and get your capital growth, if you can turn a high growth, low yield asset into a high growth, high yield asset, what you can't do is turn a high yield, low growth into a high yield, high growth. It can't be done.
Yeah.
Right? So we totally support the capital growth concept, but the absolute reality is, I think I've got some slides later, the absolute reality is the higher the growth initially, the lower the yield. Right? That's just fact. Right? So if you're buying, is yours regional, where are your properties?
Or metropolitan, or main centres.
Good.
And you're right, actually. It took me 10 years, actually. It took me 10 years before I could have a satisfactory income that I felt that I could actually throw my job.
Well, there you go.
Because it takes a lot longer than
It
what
does,
you
of course.
anticipate. A lot longer.
And look, the way you make money is income, appreciation, and also adding value. Right? So I was in Manhausen Mines recently, and they were all well-heeled clients up there, and they said, George, we want you to buy negative yield properties. I said, no, you don't. I said, yes, we do. We want to save money on tax. I said, you don't ever get involved in an investment solely for tax purposes. So what you want to do is buy a high capital growth property where the byproduct is taxation benefits. There's a lot of properties you can buy that have taxation benefits that actually don't grow in value, and they're of absolute no use whatsoever to you. Right? Now, our system, it's our system, right? And so, as I'm saying, it's right or wrong, is you create your wealth through property through capital growth. But, and I say this very clearly, and I'll say all this up front, it's easy to say that, but unless you understand and have a strategy how to fund it until it becomes neutral or positive, a lot of people will never reach that stage. Right? We talk about compounding, leverage and time, so you can grow a large portfolio. We talk about buying and never or seldom selling. So if you understand where is it you want to go, what do you have to achieve to get there, then what type of property do you need to follow to get you there? And if you've got some properties that don't really suit that portfolio, change it. Right? But the cost of transacting the property for the stamp duty, selling agents fees, capital gains tax is large. So mistakes you can make can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Right? We talk about creative property things. When we say creative, we mean renovating, adding value, or developing. Right? What we're not talking about is what's called split scraps, options, vendor finance, all that sort of stuff. That's not what we do. And you can get to a stage, it is getting a little difficult, where you can actually live off the increase in equity in your properties. Right? And we can show people how. Right? Why do properties actually increase in value? Right? I know you can read, but you know, it's got to have demand and supply. So people say, it's got to have demand. No, it's got to have supply as well. Or it's all about supply. No, it's as long as there's more demand than supply, they're going to go up, right? And that's why we don't ever buy off plan, and we don't buy anything that's speculative in the future, because people say to me, George, where would you buy? And I don't get right into those sort of questions. Oh, what suburb? Who knows Holland Park here? Anyone knows Holland Park on the south side? Holland Park's got 6 k's in CBD, but there are pockets of Holland Park that are riddled with commission houses, right? They're not going to go up in value, right? They will, but very slowly. But there's also a street in Holland Park called Neal Street. Neal Street's got some of the best city views of Brisbane that can go up on top of the hill. But the views are from the houses that have got an even number. So if you've got an even number house in Neal Street, you've got some of the best city views of Brisbane. If you've got an odd number house in Neal Street, you've got some of the best city views, you get some of the best views of the houses with the views. So just the median price between the one side of the street is about $400,000 in that one street. So it's hard to say, let's go and buy Holland Park. You've got to break it down, break it down, break it down. West End, parts of West End have gone fantastic and will always do so. But yet there are places like Flow, SL8, that were bought off the plan for $640,000, and they were bought off the plan here. By the time they built it, sold it, ready for you to settle on it, you could be in a different market. So a lot of properties that were sold for $640,000 off this plan, when it came time to settlement, were valued at $480,000. Right, people lost $140,000 of equity all in value overnight. The bank still wanted $640,000 for it. It's crazy stuff. And when we talk about supply and demand, it's not just property, it's everything. Whatever's got short supply and more demand is going to go up. Ford car was built in 1971, GDHO phase 3, under $5,000 back in 1971. Now they're changing hands between $500 to $1 million. My wife reckons diamonds are the same thing. I don't believe it, right? But we agree to disagree. What's ahead, guys? Because I'm actually doing a film, a video tomorrow that's going out. There's so much conflicting news. Anywhere you read, there's confliction in the paper. In the Courier Mail yesterday, talked about house values plummet. So I talk about 1.7%, right? And then on the article right beside it, talk about increasing land valuation. So when you're reading these articles, you've got to make sure, and I actually caused a bit of controversy during the floods, because I had the lead article on API magazine, Europe's Property magazine, and I was saying, you know what, I'm going to say it as it is, and I'm going to offend some people, and I'm okay with that. The reports were reporting 75% of Queensland was underwater. The reality was less than 2% of Brisbane properties were water affected. Right? Let's get to the reality. There was an article that was saying, houses are dropping by 35% in low-lying, low-value areas. You read, so they're great, caption to grab it. But then when you read it, you say, what about St. Lucia, Toowong, Inverquilly, Big Tree Pocket? I'm thinking, when was the last time these were low value? Not low lying, low value. So if we use the analogy, 50%, reporting last year that 50% of Brisbane suburbs went backwards, and that part is true. That also means that 50% went up. It's like saying, if I put my hand in a bucket of cold water and a bucket of hot water, I'm not overall warm. So you can't report that I'm warm. If you add the two temperatures together, it's neutral. A lot of the reporting that you read is like that. So we're saying, guys, break the information down. You can't get anyone to give you a cookie-cutter type approach to your investing. Because what you need, not what you thought you need. You've got different needs. And we're all different needs what we want, so we need to break this down. Right? What do you believe could cause the property market to crash?
High interest rates.
What's high?
Probably something like 13%.
Right. Back in the late 80s, 86, 87, we reached 3 months of 21% interest rates. Right? And the market has crashed.
Yeah, in New Zealand it actually reached about 24 when the market did crash.
Yeah.
And,
but has it recovered since then, or has it never recovered from that point in time?
Some have and some haven't.
Yeah.
Some did. Some of the ones in 1987 still at 1987
Same
and below.
prices. Okay. Now let's go back there. What you need to do?
But not residential.
Yeah. Well, I'm only talking resi, by the way. So what you need now is to elevate that. Population of Brisbane, just Brisbane has got more population than some of the areas of whole New Zealand. Right? So you need to look at population, migration, look at where you're investing. Like, I love property, but I won't invest in the Gold Coast. I love visiting the Gold Coast, but I'll never invest in the Gold Coast. Right? So you need to look at where the infrastructure is. They're already predicting 35,000 shortfall of properties in Brisbane in the next 11 years. There's already $30 billion of infrastructure costs to improve just in South East Queensland. Right? The government actually wants a confined area of investment. They're not going to keep on this urban sprawl. Because the more urban sprawl they have, the more infrastructure they need. The more schools, hospitals, buses, shopping centres. So they'd rather go higher. Look at this area around you. It's all destined to go up, not out. There's no more out. Right? Up. What causes it to go up? Recession? Unemployment? Do you think we've got higher unemployment at the moment? No, we don't. Right? So even though there are people who don't work, sometimes it's a bit of a choice rather than not being able to work. Right? Oversupply of property. Now I'm going too fast. High interest rates. Okay. We're in a changing market. So in a changing market, you need different strategies. We have, had a period of flat. We believe that well-located properties, especially with scarcity factor, will increase in value, and always has had. Your money will decrease in value. So in an inflationary period, your money decreases in value. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? It depends where your money is. So if you're going to buy, it might be a bit of a bad thing, but if you've already got a loan, say at $400,000, and now the property you've bought it against is going up and up and up, and the value of the dollar is going down, it means you're actually repaying your loan with less money. Right? So what if 400 bought you at this time, you couldn't buy the equivalent of 400 at this time. So whatever, if you take an economics lectures, the government actually does like a bit of inflation, is actually will pay their money with money that's worth less. Not worthless, but worth less. Right? Yeah. We believe in strong capital growth. Let's be fucking guys. It's okay to have strong capital growth if you can afford to sustain the repayments. Right? Because you look at Melbourne right now, Melbourne prices have shot through the roof, and their rents have not gone up in parallel. So there are properties in Melbourne at the moment where their rent returns are less than 2% gross. That's a bit of a hard act to swallow, but they're selling. All right. We talk here about what is a property cycle, and unfortunately, property prices never go up linearly. Your debts do. Right? A lot of the software calculates it linearly. So you have periods of flat. You have and the shortest time is what they call the boom time. So what normally happens is someone might buy property here. They go, oh, this doesn't work. They sell it here. All of a sudden, prices start going up. I can't sustain this. They don't buy anything else. Next thing it overshoots, and then they get back in the market here again. Right? So, and the crazy thing is, who's actually bought property in close and then has sold it many years ago? Any of your friends or neighbours or your parents that might have bought a property or sold it at a record price?
I bought land and sold it. Sold the land.
Whereabouts is that?
Belbarra.
Okay. So it'd be interesting to know what you sold it for, what it's worth today.
About 5 times.
And there's normally what we call the real cycle and the perceived cycle. So the reality is here, the black line, but a lot of the majority of investors will not invest until everyone else does. So at that time, if you're waiting for the market to be here or here for a straight line, the property prices have already moved because you're waiting for people to good use in it. 2 months ago, Melbourne was still hot. As of now, it's a crash. It's never a correction, it's a crash. And I love the terminology all the journalists use. It's a crash. So it's either too high or it's not sustainable. Who remembers the Professor King, right? And he ended up to do that walkathon. He was saying property prices had crashed by 40%. They never did. And the funny thing was, not funny, but the ironic thing was that he himself put his house for auction. It was valued at whatever it was. The reserve, the highest bid received it was a lot more than 40% lower than the reserve, than the value. He didn't sell it. And then at a walkathon, they made him wear a t-shirt saying, I was wrong about property prices. Now, we debated him on that on radio, and he didn't take it. Anyway, I'll get through that. Let's look at the history of property prices. Since nearly now 80 years, And there's always been a criticism why property prices won't go up, right? And there's been population debates, depression, affordability issues, oil prices, CGT, recession, 20% interest rates. Someone reminded me today that, Keating, removed negative gearing, but they had to put it back in because they don't lose government. Asian crisis, low inflation, affordability, immigration. GFC, we'll probably have now 2011 demand in there somewhere, saying it's going to have another world war. Property prices have always gone up, but they have not gone up linearly. So our belief is that you must have a long-term view, because the entry and the exit fees are just too bloody high. They're too high, right? So there's always been a reason why they will not go up. Now I'm not going to sit here and tell you, because it's not my style, that in 50 years' time, property will be worth $20 million each. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is if there's one more cycle, just one, in the rest of our lives, and there's nothing to say there's going to be one, but nothing to say, are we going to make money out of property? Of course we will. Here's a history of some property prices over the last 30 years, and the thing is, even at these prices, my parents bought a house in Greenslopes in 1971 for $17,000. And when they bought it, it was actually houses across the road. Now you go there, there's a freeway across the road. Right, so that's only 3 k's from the CBD, and you sit on their front deck, and there's the buses going straight past the house. It's still worth $500,000 today, which was sheer location, 3 k's from the CBD. Right, and it's and the noise factor. The only good thing about it is there's so much light from the buses and from the busway. You actually wash your car at night time, so you get away with it. Right, but it's just amazing. But even back in those days, those property prices were expensive. And it's amazing that people have bought, sold, made some money, but now look back at what it's worth today, and it's cringeworthy. And especially like what you're saying, is that now your rents are based on, if you've had property for a while, your rents are based on the valuation today, not what you paid for it. So you'll be able to hold the properties. All right, what do we buy? I'll go through this. The number of single-person households are outnumbering households with couples and 2 children, right? So as an investor, you need to buy what people are actually wanting to rent in, right? Not what you want to live in yourself. And there's no emotion when it comes to property investing, or there shouldn't be any, right? There's more middle-aged singles, dinks. So who's going to buy the old 3-bedroom coupe home in Canada? With my background, a lot of the Greeks had bloody double stories, 2 kitchens, everything else that you weren't able to use anyway. As an investment, it's pathetic, right? A lot of the Greeks made money because all their parents had houses in West End. The kids kept them, and the parents went out to Canada. But actually, they're all now coming back to West End because it's 2 k's from the CBD. Right? So, interesting stuff. Guys, I'm not going to get into the debate about new versus old, because there's 100 ways you can look at it, and it's what you want to see. So new's got great depreciation, low maintenance. No question about that, right? People say to me, George, I can go buy a brand new house for $600,000 at Coomera. Now I'm just picking Coomera as an example. And for $600,000 I'll get a 4-bed, 2-bath, double-up garage, 700 square metres of land, and I've got great depreciation. I'm not debating that at all. I'm not debating that one bit. I'm an accountant. I love depreciation, and not an expensive growth. Right, where for $600,000, you'll go to Tarragindi, which is about 5 k's from here, and you're lucky to get a 3-bed, 1-bath post-war home for $600,000. The difference being, in Coomera, the land value is about $250,000, and what's sitting on the land is about $350,000. Here in Tarragindi, the land is about $520,000. What's sitting on the land is about $80,000. So the land value is what's going up. Our method of investing is I would rather create depreciation rather than buy depreciation. Right? That's what we do. Right? So, high yield, absolutely. Easy to rent, absolutely. Less maintenance, absolutely. Can you add value? Not very easily. All the values there you buy. That's our way. I won't go through that. Just gone through that to know we're on a time constraint, but I'm happy to see everybody one-on-one. We've gone through that. What's next? Property cycles. Right? If property goes up 400 every 7 years and doubles off, look at doubling effect. Now, if we're talking about $400,000, let's say you had $80,000 deposit, so you had 20%, and you borrowed the other 80%. If everything goes the way it should be, in 7 years' time, we're at 400 to 800. It depends what you focus on, right? Now, my father, who is 85, if he knew my level of debt, he would see 86, right? Because he's come from the old school, you pay cash for everything, and if you borrow, you don't borrow anymore to be paid off. If we wanted to save $400,000 to buy this property, how long would it take to save $400,000 after tax? A long time? Let's say it took 7 years, right? Which it won't, but it took 7 years. If we started saving today, by the time we save $400,000 after tax, and we get to here to buy the property, we can't buy it because prices have gone up. My father focuses on this. I can't get this without that. Right? So what I do, I just don't tell them anymore. Right? I don't tell them. And then, so even if, and if it follows one more cycle after that, and let's say you've got, depending on how you set up your loan structures, and I'm not talking about any negative gearing, I'm not talking about depreciation, I'm talking about taxation, there's none of that. Let's say you've got capitalised interest. So you haven't got the 400 growth, because that 80 extra 80 there. Let's say it cost you 100 Gs in capitalised interest. And I'm not saying to do that, by the way. You've still made 300. Right, so it depends what you look for. This is what we believe. Right? Can I go back one?
Yep.
Out. This way.
Yep.
Depending on where you buy, will depend on your outcome. So over a 10-year period, if you invest in a suburb, it gives you 8% versus 10% versus 12% capital growth. You can forego, we all get the same starting point, you can forego hundreds of thousands of dollars of growth just by the choice of the area you invest in. Let's look at another one. If we're talking $1 million here, and we want to achieve $1 million, and our growth from our starting point is 8% annualised average. So it might be, and of course, not going to be 8% every year, so it might have 9 and 7 and 10 and 6, not an average. It will take you just nearly 10 years to reach the $1 million valuation. But if you do it at an 8% growth, it takes you under 8 years. If you do it at a 12% growth, you can break it down to just over 5 years. There are suburbs still in Brisbane today that are achieving 14 to 15 to 16% annualised. Right? And they're great suburbs to invest in. I'll not through that. All right, capital growth, I'm way past my time. We were talking about supply and demand. When we invest, we look at population, we look at migration, we look at demographics. Where are people moving into? Where are they coming from? What do they want to invest in? Right? And how many people are actually moving into interstate, interstate, and from overseas? We look at all the demographics. Let me have a little quicker. It's actually consumer confidence, by the way, and that's a lot of the driving of the house prices. So I was overseas. I was in Athens last year, and they've got 6 million people in Athens. And Athens is not much bigger than Brisbane. It's chaos. Property prices haven't moved, right? And the reason why they haven't moved is there's no consumer confidence. There's no confidence in the government. When we went there during the right period, we didn't go there too right, but we were there during the right periods. They believe it's their right not to pay tax over there, right? So they're rorting, so there's no consumer confidence to money into property. So even though they've got all the population, there's no confidence in the market whatsoever.
It's a national sport, isn't it? Avoiding tax.
Avoiding tax, mate. I can't speak for everybody. Hey, we talk about who is on your team, right? So when you're investing in property, we are so headstrong that you need all of these people. Oops, I've gone back. This way. You need accountants, financiers, selling agents, inspectors, solicitors, valuers, quantity surveyors, insurers, all to work with you on building your portfolio. Right? It's not a single sport. I've got quantity surveying reports for some of my properties, and as I showed you, I've got a property where the difference in quantity surveying between two different quantity surveyors was over $285,000. Right? One of my other properties, the difference was $77,000 in difference in depreciation. just depreciation is that much difference, right? If you don't have a good financing guys, and that's why your hip is good reputation here, get out of it, right? So the first person you talk to is your finance guys before you even speak to anybody else. Don't go and find a property and then go to these guys, I want to do something. No, you need to better these guys first, right? And you need to have pro-property accountants. Accountants don't understand property. It shocks me how many people say, oh, I'll move my property, then I'll go to H&R Block or Impact while I do my shopping. No. You've got to treat your property business as a business. It's not a sidebar hobby. That's what we believe. Right, this is what's happening at the moment. Looks like Ted dancing with hair, doesn't it? So what do you think when you get, what do you think most people do when they get overloaded with information? Give up, they do nothing. Right, and you can do nothing, guys, and you can have bad experiences, and you can, but the only person you're hurting in the long run is yourself and your own life. So if you've had a bad experience, had a bad run with another broker, don't blame these people for someone else's sin. Right, start again. The only person you're going to hurt is yourself. Right? Our strategy, and I'll go through this fairly quickly, is you must first establish your requirement. You've got to work out what you want for your portfolio, not what someone else wants to do about your portfolio. You need to work very cleverly about finance and structures. What I mean by structures is ownership. You do it in your own name, whose name, it's not about, because you can say, oh, I'm the highest tax and I'll put everything in my name. Okay, what about land tax issues? What about equity protection? Right, so you need to see these guys first. Do the searching, do the due diligence. And so we're talking about property buying at step 5. Renovation, development, management, property management. And one thing a lot of people don't do, which we do for all of our landlords, is every year we review their portfolio. And we review it towards what the end game is. What do you want from your portfolio? Otherwise, how do you know it's performing? Right? So we're very, very thorough on that. Guys, I speak very quickly because there's so much information. So I see a bit of time. If you want to have an absolute free one-on-one with me, you're more than welcome to. There's a gift there for everyone. There's a folder, lots of CDs and DVDs and audios, a free book. But if you want to ask me 1-2 questions before these guys take the floor back. Glenn, anything for me? Besides to speak in English, slow down.
I've got a property in Milton. I've just done major renovations. Has cost a little bit, but it's not reasonable.
What's the question?
The question is, obviously, it's not money down the road. It's obviously, to me, it's an improvement. So what is that time?
Well, I don't know the property, of course. I'll ask you some questions first. Before you did the renovation, did you go in, I don't know, it doesn't matter how old the property is, right? Did you go in there with the point survey and look at the scrapping report? A scrapping report, so you get the point surveyors in there, and irrespective whether it's old carpet, old kitchens, whatever, it's got an intrinsic value. So it's amazing how many people do renovation and throw away $30,000-$40,000 worth of immediate write-offs. Right? So your property manager should inform you on that as well. Now that you finished the renovation, did you get a new depreciation report? Alright, need to do that.
Just to finish the deck, substantial value.
Did you do it through a valuation? So did you know what the value would be of the property to be renovated before you got the renovation done?
Yes, I think.
Oh, good. Okay, so you've got an as-if complete valuation done first?
Yes.
Fantastic.
I said, if I did this, what would be the valuation?
Who gave you the valuation? Don't tell me you're selling agent.
No, I private buying companies.
An appraisal?
No, a slide.
Oh, okay.
Slide in the tree, which really gave me a price on it.
Yeah.
I said, I should do these renovations.
What was good?
Roughly,
Okay. These guys will tell you that the only person who gives a valuation the banks listen to are valuers in the banks handle of lenders. Right? So the banks have got certain valuers. What we would do is we do renos all the time, but we would know what the value will be as it completes before we start, and what the yield is going to be as well. If you've got property in Brisbane, because something I'm doing launching at the moment is a whole helping landlord series, right? Because I think the landlords is not a focus on landlords, and I think as a landlord I know what rates landlords, and but that's another step. If you fill out the blue form or say hello to me, say hey, I've got properties in Brisbane, and I'll then, you know, when we talk, to you all about, you know, how many mistakes landlords make. Guys, I've gone over way too much time. I'm gracious for the time you guys give me on the floor, and that point about this stuff with the guys, there's a little blue form in there. You know, fill it out, give it to me now, or you know, email me or ring me when you get a chance. Thanks everyone, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much, George.
I'll hand it to me.
With its scrapping value, is that the net book value that you actually, disposable value that you still the balance of it off, which you scrap, which you write off, and then when the new asset goes in, you start again from zero?
Not from zero.
So zero is data to be the time, time zero. And not dollar value, not dollar
And
zero.
it's shocking how many people never take advantage of what's legally allowable to them.
So giving an example, say the carpet is you're going to throw out and has a net book value of say $1,000, initial price $10,000. You write the $10,000 off, and when the new carpet comes in, it starts from datum zero. The purchase price is say $10,000, and then depreciation starts again. But you get the further write off of $1,000
Immediately.
Yes, of all the items that you're disposing of.
Absolutely. But you can't do it, by the way, guys. The quantity surveyor's got to do it. Not your accountant, you know, not your friend. You know, not the guys at the barbecue that you know, did this last weekend. A qualified quantity surveyor's got to do it. Right. Thank you.
Thanks, George. Gents, our last speaker tonight is a man who has been with Aussie since 2001 and is one of Queensland's top brokers. He's helped hundreds of clients with their finance needs. His specialisation is to help clients by designing a loan that suits their needs, whether it's for residential or commercial properties. His passion is to help people achieve their dream of home ownership, whether it is a first home, an investment property, or consolidating existing debts. Please welcome to the stage Alan Taylor, Franchise Principal, Aussie, Lutwyche and Paddington.
Thanks guys, how are we going so far? All right? Got enough information, not throwing expansion too much yet? It's all good so far? Okay, cool. I think some of you, Wes, long time, they've probably dealt with this before. If you haven't, I don't know if you know much about Aussie. Aussie started in 1992. John Simon still owns Aussie, can't buy shares in it. We've got this franchise here and one at Paddington, but as Phil said, I've been around with Aussie since 2001. So what I'm going to try and do tonight, I guess, is cover just a few of the specialty things if you're going to go and talk to your bank, or have us help you as to what you might need to do if you're going to do some property investment. There's a bank, I guess to start off with, there's a four-letter word. All banks are bastards. None of them really are any good. They are all bad. Just some are worse than others. Some will make you jump through a lot of hoops. Some will make it pretty easy for you. But at the end of the day, you don't really want the money. You just want the house. But unless you've got the cash, then you've got no choice but to use the bank to get the money. So if you're going to be dealing with banks, you know, one of the things that they like a lot of is all your paperwork. If you've had loans before or got loans now, you probably know from the last time you did it, they almost want a DNA sample of some of these banks. So the thing that I say to people is that with all your paperwork, be a keeper, not a chucker. So some people, I say to them, so you've got your credit card statement? No, chuck it away. You got your bank status? No, chuck it away. One of that's, you can get sort of identity theft and all that stuff like that. People, you hear stories of people going through your bin, knocking off your credit card statement and your rates notice. But the best thing to do if you're going to be needing money is to keep all your paperwork. Keep your statements that the bank sends you. Because a lot of times if you don't, they're going to want you to go and get them, and you might go back to your current bank and say, I need 3 statements for the last 3 months, and then they charge you $15 a page or something for reprinting. So it's just easier to hang on to them in the first place. So keep all your paperwork, make sure that you've got it available for you for when you're going to do your loan. The other thing that's good to do is to make sure that your financial affairs are in what they call good conduct. And then all that basically is that if you've got existing credit commitments, that you pay them by the due date and you pay the minimum amount. They don't really care whether or not you paid, $500 a month extra on your car loan. All they really want to know is that you paid the minimum amount by the date that was due. And as long as you do that, then that'll be considered what they call good conduct. Be careful if you're shopping around a lot for loans, because with the checks that they do on you with credit reporting agencies, for example, every time you apply for credit, it leaves a watermark or a thumbprint behind on your credit report. So even though you might not have gone ahead with the loan, the fact that you made an application, there's an entry left on your credit file. So one of the things that banks look for is how many entries are on your credit file. So if there's a lot of entries, then that makes them a little bit toey that, maybe you've been to a few different banks and nobody's giving you the loan, so wonder what those other banks found out that we don't know about. So it just puts them on edge, particularly if you're in the land of mortgage insurance. Does everyone know what mortgage insurance is? Yes? No?
Is it the insurance you're compelled to take out if
Yeah.
you borrow greater than 80%?
Correct. Lenders mortgage insurance. LMI is the lingo in the trade. What it is, once upon a time the banks would only ever lend you 80%. You have to have a 20% deposit. And the reason that they work on 80% was they figured that if something happened and they had to sell you up, they'd have to sell in a hurry at a discount to get their money back. So they figured they'd only get 80% of whatever the property was worth. So you had 20% deposit. And so a lot of people couldn't get houses. Even today, if everyone had 20%, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do it. So some of the banks back then used to say, look, we've known you for 15 years, we know you're good. We knew your mum and dad, we knew them for 40 years. So we'll let you have 90%. But instead of you paying 7% interest, you'll pay 8.5%. What they call rate for risk. Higher risk, higher rate. Along came mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is a once-off premium that the borrower pays at the beginning of the loan, lasts for the life of the loan. You never pay it again. But it protects the bank in case of a forced sale situation where there's a shortfall, so the bank can't lose. The bank will claim on the mortgage insurance. Don't think you got away with it that easy, because the mortgage insurers will come looking for you if there's a shortfall, so you're not really off the hook. But what it does do is it lets the banks lend you up to 95% of the purchase price and still have the same interest rate. So if the rate of 20% deposit is 7%, you can borrow right to 95% and it's still 7%. The other thing they'll do usually is let you what they call capitalise it. So that mortgage insurance premium that you pay at the beginning of the loan, instead of having to, they'll let you add it onto the loan, called capitalising it. So in reality, you borrow 97% of the purchase price, including the mortgage insurance in it. So it's the mortgage insurers usually that are the tough guys, usually worse than the banks. And they're the ones that look for how many times have you applied for credit, all those sorts of things, looking for dirty marks against you. They're pretty much risk adverse. Banks are risk adverse, but mortgage insurers are even worse. So a lot of times when you hear of people's loans getting turned down for one reason or another when they would have otherwise been good, a lot of times it's the mortgage insurers, not the banks, that does it. It also matters to the banks, I suppose, as to whether or not you're going to borrow for property or whether you're going to borrow for shares. So if we're talking about borrowing money for investment, if you're borrowing for property, then they'll use the value of the property as security for the loan. If you're borrowing for shares, then they won't really have any value or take any security over that share portfolio that you're buying. They don't take security over it, so they'll want your house as security rather than the share portfolio. Then from there it's pretty much, I suppose, a matter of which bank you use and how favourable they are to structuring for you. Some banks, for example, usually you'll have multiple loans if you start getting involved in insurance. Oh, we're down to the last page. I might use the whiteboard. Don't need that too much. Just do that. So it depends on how you structured. This is your principal place of residence, which is where a lot of people usually start. You don't have to start with a principal place of residence. You can start with an investment. You can live in a rental and still build a portfolio of properties. And then you'll normally have your home loan attached to that. So depending on how much your house is worth, let's call it $400,000 for the purpose of the exercise, and your loan here might be $200,000. So if you were going to keep 20% equity in your property, that potentially gives you extra of 120,000 that you can use towards other investments without really going over the 80%, magic 80%, so you stay away from mortgage insurance. So what a lot of people do, and what a lot of lazy brokers and lazy banks do, is that as you start to add property, what they do is this. Go and buy your investment number one, and it might be, let's call it 300,000, and then you might want to borrow the whole amount because you don't want to be putting any cash in of your own, so you'll borrow 300,000 on that, that's 100% then. So what they'll do is they'll join those two properties together. So now this loan is secured by two properties. Then you might go investment number two, say another 300,000. Right, and they'll do this. So this loan is now secured by three properties. So as you can imagine, as you start to add properties on and you use that kind of structure, it starts to get pretty messy. It also starts to get pretty difficult if you want to sell one of these properties. Because say you wanted to get rid of this property here, and I'm going to keep those two, you've got to work out how much are you going to get for it, how much of the loan you're going to pay back, what the values of the properties are that are left. So the bank, to sell that property there, you're going to have to get new valuations done on both of those. So that the bank knows what their security position is. It can be expensive. Start getting into portfolios like this. I've got one client with 9 properties in their portfolio, and they're all right. Imagine what it starts to look like. You want to sell that property there, you've got new val, new val, new val, new val. Just to sell a property can start to get pretty cumbersome. So what I usually like to do is none of that. There's a couple of different strategies that you can use. This is my favourite one, where you put your 120,000 because that's your equity. Right? So then you go and buy the property here, and you might pay 300,000 for it, and you're going to borrow 20%, so that's 240 loan amount, 80%. We're 80% here as well. And then you use the 60 grand out of there, so now we're left 60. Right? And you use that 60 to feed this. So then you go and buy the next property, 300, 240, and you use the other 60 grand to feed that one. Then once you get to that point, that might be 2-3 years down the track, so then you go and get this one revalued. This is now worth 500. Right? So there's another 80 grand, you can top this up with another 80,000. Right? This one revalued, it's now worth 360, so we can up that loan a little bit as well. This one you've only just bought, so it might not have changed. So the little bit extra that you've got here, you chuck it back into that. Now you've got a bigger pot again, and you go and do next property. Right? And all one loan, one property, one property, one loan, one property, one loan. So that if at any time you want to sell one of the properties, it's easy. Just sell the property, discharge the loan, thanks for coming. Right? Take the money, put it back in the pot.
And one vendor doesn't hold sway over all your property either.
And one bank too. One of the challenges that you can start to get into is, I believe that you shouldn't give the bank all your business. Me personally, I have one bank for all my banking, I have another bank for my loans, I have another bank for credit cards. My personal opinion is that I don't really give them too much power. The banks will do this for you if you let them, and they squeeze. Better off just not let them.
Just a quick question, is that if you placed all the business with one bank, do they each give you a discount for volume?
Yes, they can, but not always. So, for example, there's a couple of banks, well, most of the majors, CBA, Westpac, ANZ, Suncorp, Bankwest, right, that'll say, depending on your overall borrowing, 1.2, 1.6 million, right, in this 1.6 million worth of property, what are we on here? 1.2 million
Your
worth of
desktop NAV,
loans.
your desktop NAV, isn't it? There's one more bank, isn't there?
They don't do the packages the same way that these guys do. St George is the other one I should have included in the way they package them. NAB do bulk discounts, but they package them differently, and I'll come to that. They're a bit unique. So in this scenario, they say, well, you've got 1.2 million worth of borrowing, so we'll now give you a discount based on all your borrowing. So on the next loan that you do, right, we'll give you, standard. They usually do it as standard variable rate minus a discount. And that discount will often last for the life of the loan. So you might have been able to negotiate a 0.5 discount here. You might have got a 0.7 discount here because it was on special. You might have got 0.6 on this one, right? That one will stay at 0.7 for the life of the loan, even though today you went to the bank and they said, we'll give you 0.6. Or actually today they're going, we really want new business, we'll give you 0.95 discount for the life of the loan, based on what we're borrowing. However, that's one strategy. The other strategy is you might have this with ANZ. ANZ will use good for these properties. And you might put this one with Bankwest. You might put this one with Suncorp. And this one with St George. Break it up. Or you might do two with Bankwest. Because now we're at $500,000 worth of lending. Okay, we've reached our maximum discount there, we'll go and use another bank. It really depends on a lot of different criteria, and it's hard to say definitively that this is the best strategy for every person, because it's not. It varies on who you bank with, who you're comfortable with, what sort of features do you need. Look, I reckon ultimately the loan that you should shoot for, and the best loan that you can get, is one that costs little or no money to set up. One that's got little or no ongoing fees, preferably none. One that lets you pay extra on the loan if you want to, and one that lets you redraw that extra again if you want to or need to, preferably for free, and a cheap rate.
I know that loan. That's actually a loan from your parents.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and a cheap rate. So if you can tick all those four boxes, little or no cost to set up, little or no ongoing fees, flexibility to pay extra and redraw, and a cheap interest rate, that's about as best as you're going to get. The next part of that equation is how easy are they to deal with. So is it, if I need to ring somebody up, how can I get through? Is it press 1, press 7, press 9, press 13, press 11, press 12, go back to the start? Right? Or is it, you ring up, press 1 for home loans and you're actually through? Do they have branches? If you need to talk to someone, can you walk into the bank and talk to someone, get a statement reprint, for example? Is that important? For me personally, last time I went into a bank branch was I had a cheque I needed to deposit. That's the only time I go into the branch. I do everything else online. So for me, I don't really care whether or not they've got branches. I want to know if they've got a good website. Is their internet banking good and is it secure? If I do need to talk to someone at the call centre, and I don't want to be racist here, but is it Bob in Melbourne or is it Gupta in Mumbai? A lot of banks that partner use Gupta. And Gupta might all be well and good, but he's hard to understand. He doesn't always know what I'm talking about. And he's sort of using the shit a bit, to be honest with you. But some of the banks are done locally, some are done offshore. I like the local. So if I've got two loans, two lenders, both offering me a scenario, and they're within a foot length of each other, that's a technical term by the way, foot length of each other on interest rate, one might be 7.1 and the other one might be 7.11. Difference in repayment might be 80 cents a month. Then I'm starting to look for the human element. Is the paperwork done in Australia? Is the call centre in Australia? Do they have a branches I can go to? For me, that's going to weigh the extra 0.1 or 0.2 more than it's all done offshore. The call centres are spastic to get through. They've got no decent website. So that's hard to measure from a dollar value point of view, but I think it's important. So when you're looking at lenders, how easy are they to deal with? If you needed to do a top-up amount on this one here, where we said values now going up, we're going to top this up, how easy is the top-up to do? do they take 6 weeks to do a $50,000 top up, or does it take 10 days and it's done? So some of that's about lender. So a lot of our expertise really is about that, around that selection of who's going to suit best for your circumstances. Part of it's who you're already with, and how easy are they to deal with to let you grow. Some of them are really difficult, but most of them, when you start getting into this sort of stuff, most of the bigger guys will do packaged products. And by packaged product, what I mean is that they'll say, we'll charge you an annual fee, a packaging fee per year. That varies between $350 and $450 a year, depending on the bank. And for that, you can then have up to 10 loans, no application fee, no setup fee, no monthly fee, whatever, once you've got that package. Package normally includes things like cheap or free credit cards, discounted insurances, access to financial planners, all that sort of stuff within the bank regime under that package. So some of the package stuff is really good, others they're not as good. For example, and why I left out NAB, they don't charge a packaging fee, they charge $10 a month on each loan. So instead of paying a $250 or $350 a year packaging fee, they'll go $10 a month, $10 a month, $10 a month, $10 a month, $10 a month. Ends up being a dearer proposition in the long run. So still give you the overall global discount, but they put it together a bit differently. They're also probably the most difficult bank to deal with. But they just made a record $2.8 billion profit, so obviously they've got plenty of room to grow. So. The other strategy that you can use is where you have a global limit. So you have an account limit set up, and that will be made up of the values of the properties. And just to make the math easy, let's call it 500,000 each. Which means you have a global limit of your loans of, say, let's go with 80%, so that's 400, that's 1.2. So your global limit would be 1.2 million. Right, now you can pay down debt. So this might be your home, principal place of residence. You can pay down the loan, and you can increase that loan as long as you stay within your limit. So you can remanipulate the loans. So what some people do in this sort of scenario is that, say you're starting off with your house and you've got good equity in your home to start with. So you might have had a home loan of, say, 200,000 to start with. And then you purchase here, you borrowed the whole 100, 500, and on this one you might have borrowed 400. What you do is you have the rents paid into here. So the tenants are actually paying off your home loan. As well as that, you've got your normal payments that you make each month going in. So this loan's getting smashed, because that's the non-tax deductible debt. That's the bad debt. Meanwhile, these loans, you let the interest accumulate. Right? Staying within your limit, you change the limit of this loan to 600, and you change the limit of this loan to 100. Right? So now your home loan's being smashed down, and your investment debt is getting bigger because you're not actually making any payments to it. So this is tax deductible debt. This is non-tax deductible debt. So you get rid of that debt and let that debt get fatter. Right? Or just by staying within your limit. Right? So not all banks do that kind of structure, but if that's a strategy that you think that would be good for your circumstances, then it's important to choose the lender that will let you do this remanipulation with little or no cost. The best ones do it where you can just make a phone call and say, I want to change my limits, and they just reach it.
Quite common.
No, it's not. It's not common because it's not well known. And not all the banks will let you play that game. There was some issues with the ATO about increasing investment debt and diminishing personal debt, and they were trying to say that it was a tax avoidance strategy, but it's not. There's a private ruling on it to say that it's clean, good to go. But not all the banks will have that global limit that you can manipulate around. So it's important to either choose a bank wisely that's going to be able to do it, or use a different strategy. And as I say, my favourite one is you've got your home loan, you've got your little sub loan, and you do all your other loans as standalones. Because it keeps them clean. This way, yes, it's a good strategy, but you've still got tangled. Because all the properties are all joined and tangled. This way, they're not tangled. So it's kind of 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other, which is the best benefit for you.
And then one they can freeze all assets as well. And you've got no
Yeah, if there's an issue somewhere, they can really do this. And they like to do that. Mind you, they don't really want to sell you up. They don't want your house. They'll openly say, we don't want your house, we just want your loan. You keep the house. We're not in the second-hand house business. It's their attitude. So they don't want to sell you up, but yeah. Then we get into principal and interest or interest only. That's the other question a lot of people ask. Normally your home loan, you want that to be principal and interest because you want to pay it down. But these investment loans, really you want the investment debt to remain high, at least until you've got rid of your home loan debt, your non-taxable debt, because these ones will be interest only. That's how I normally set them up. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe interest only for the life of the loan, depending on what your strategy is. So principal and interest usually on your principal place of residence, but interest only on your investment debt. Once that home loan debt is gone, then you can start to drill down on this if you want. But clear that one out first. So as rental incomes go, the banks will take rental income as valid income. They normally want some sort of evidence of what that rental income is, and that's usually either a lease, tenancy agreement, or a rental statement. So if it's already rented, there's a tenant already in there, then your real estate managing agent, they'll want a statement from the agent to say this is how much rent you get. They'll normally accept that as the valid rent or a tenancy agreement. A letter from the real estate agent say, oh, we reckon you can rent this place for $450 a week. It's not really going to fly. It's alright for when you're putting the loan together on the proposal basis, but later on if you want to firmly use the rent, then they'll want either a tenancy agreement or a rental statement. The other thing is that they'll discount how much rent they allow, so they don't take all of the rent. Depending on the lender, it varies between 80% and 75%. Now there are a couple of banks out there that allow you 100% of the rent, but then they don't allow you the negative gearing offset when they're working at your income. So it's kind of 6 to 1, half dozen to 1. Some banks go, no, it's 80% of the rent is all we'll accept, but we'll allow you the add-backs for the negative gearing in your income. So that sort of helps your taxable income. And other banks go, no, we'll just give you 100% of the rent and no negative gearing. So it's kind of wash the fun out.
Is that 80% of the gross or 80% of the net?
80% of the gross.
So after you take your expenses off.
Yep. And that's why they work on 80%, because you've got rates, insurances, managing agents' fees, vacancy, all of those things they calculate is either 20 to 25% of the gross rent is in those costs. So that's why they allow you the lesser amount.
So therefore, if you do the calculation, is that based on principal and interest or interest only?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's the rent return, actual cash that you're getting as rent.
So if someone is unemployed but they have a rental property that you want to raise a loan on,
yep.
If you calculate, say, 80% is equal to the interest carrying cost, would that be about what you'll be happy to take someone in?
Not necessarily, because there's usually, because as an individual,
yes.
They say, well, you still need some money to live. And they'll calculate in living expenses and these sorts of things. So the rental return would, not only have to cover the repayment, but it would also have to provide income for you as well. So they won't let you live on fresh air.
Okay.
So the rent would have to be pretty good, or you've got a portfolio of properties
Unless
where
they
the
live
rent
at home.
exceeds it.
So
say again?
Unless they're living at home, unless the children live at
That's
home.
it. If the children are living at home, they'll normally sting you for $150 a week board,
Okay.
as far as rent goes. And then, because you've got to live somewhere. So if you live in a home, you can say, yeah, look, you know, I don't pay rent, I live at home. I'm boarding at home, live with mum and dad. They'll still say that, well, you're still going to have expenses. So they sting you for $150 a week. It's the way the banks calculate it. The other thing they do is when they assess you, let's say the interest rate is 7% on the loan. When they assess the loan, I'll call it 8.5%. So what they'll do is they'll go, okay, the loan's $500,000. Let's pretend that the interest rate's 8.5%. We'll work out what the repayments are going to be on that. Now see if you can still afford it. So they sensitise it, artificially inflate the interest rate to work out the repayments, and then see what your affordability is at the higher repayment. That doesn't mean that's what repayment's going to be. Repayment's going to be at 7%, but they artificially stress you to see whether or not you can afford the debt. All banks do that. Some do it worse than others. Some add 0.8%, some add 1.5%, some add 2.25%. Depends on the lender. So it varies from bank to bank. So you can look at one given scenario, and across 3 different banks, one bank will lend you more than the other because of the way they stress it. And also about living allowance and stuff like that. That varies from bank to bank as well. So the banks will only take 70 to 80% of the rental income. Probably the last thing I wanted to cover, and look, we could spend all night talking about structures, and it really starts to get into an individual thing from here because everybody's circumstances are different. But the other one, we talked about principal and interest only, and the last one is lines of credit. Lines of credit scare some people, and they probably rightly should scare some people. But used in the right circumstances, they're a fantastic product. A line of credit, think of it as, say you had a line of credit for $200,000. Think of it as a $200,000 credit card, and that's what scares people. The beauty of it is that you only pay for what you've used. So like a credit card, if you've got a credit card with a $10,000 limit and you've got $2,000 owing, your repayments are based on $2,000. That's what you owe. Line of credit is the same. You can have a line of credit with a $200,000 limit with a $10,000 balance, and your repayments are based on $10,000. You only make repayments on the amount that's owed. Lines of credit are also interest only for the life of the loan. They're what's called an evergreen loan. They never actually end. So like a credit card, when you pay off your credit card, the bank doesn't come back to you and go, oh look, the credit card's zero, handed in. You can keep it. You can keep it in the drawer for 10 years with a zero balance and not make any payments because there's nothing owing on it. But that credit card's still there. It's still in your name. It's still active. So if you've got a $50,000 credit card, you can tomorrow, after 10 years of being inactive, you can go and buy a car with it. You don't have to apply for it. You don't have to ask the bank for it. You've got an approved limit. You can go and spend it. So lines of credit are the same. The difference between a line of credit and a credit card is a line of credit is attached to your home or your investment property. It's attached to a security. So the beauty is that you get basically a $200,000 credit card, all the flexibility of a credit card, and you get it at 7%. You get that home loan rates. So better than a credit card at 29% or 17% or whatever card you're currently using. You've got a facility that you can use for any purpose at home loan rates, and you only pay for what you use. So they're fantastic for investments because this little sub-loan here that I was talking about, for me that would be a line of credit because you can use it for any purpose. You can use it as deposit, you can use it for renovations, you can use it for paying the rates when they come in, you can use it for whatever you want, as long as you stay within your limit.
When you apply for a loan, they take into account the unused credit limit. So what they ask you is what your credit limit is on your credit card.
Correct.
And they treat that as a contingent payment.
Correct.
Contingent liability payment.
Yes.
Do they treat the lines, the overseas as well, lines of credit as well?
Yes.
So therefore, when you apply for the loan, it pays to go into the bank and reduce that voluntarily, and then make the then apply for the loan, and then go back out again and say, look, can I have it back again?
Yes. Easy to do with a credit card. You can reduce the limit on the card, and then next week you can go back to the credit card provider and
increase the limit again. Usually pretty easy to do. Harder to do with a line of credit, because lines of credit are credit assessed, and if you reduce the limit and then you want to put the limit back again, then they'll want to reassess you again. So you kind of get stuck in the same hole.
Now, with credit cards, they do take that into account with your credit card. They ask you, as we discussed. But if you're actually running a card not in your own name but of someone else, then would it actually affect them?
No.
So
it's not your card. It's
okay.
not your commitment. Someone else's.
So if your kids are actually running it as a joint card of the parents,
Yeah.
and then they actually come in and see you and apply for a loan, then it's not treated as part of the commitment.
Correct. Because they're not the primary card holder.
Okay.
It's all about the primary card holder. A lot of times when I'm talking to couples, I say, "Have you got a credit card?" And they go, "Yep." "Now, who's it with?" "Oh, Commonwealth Bank." "What's your limit?" 10 grand. "Okay, so whose name is that in?" "Oh, it's in joint names." No, it's actually not. It'll be in one name, but there'll be a secondary card holder. And so the couple then thinks that it's joint names, but it's not. It's actually one has the card and the other one has a secondary card. So that secondary card holder, it's not their commitment. They're actually using someone else's money, not
Yes.
their card holder's money. So it's not a commitment for them.
Right.
But they've got access to the flexibility because someone else is putting it up.
And do children have to actually save the 20%, or can it be gifted?
Can be, yeah. The mortgage insurers normally like to see that you've got at least 5%, what they call hurt money. They want to know that you've suffered some pain, sweated some blood, you've got skin in the game, right? You've saved some money and you've put that money towards purchasing your own house. And the line in the sand on that is normally 5% of the purchase price. Now that 5% can be made up as savings or money in the bank, shares, term deposits. It can also be made up as equity in another property. So if you've got a property worth 500,000, you owe 400,000, you've got 100,000 in equity, then they'll count that as savings because you've been putting your money into the discipline of paying off the loan.
Is the first home owners a grant from the government treated as part of 5%?
Depends on the lender. Most mortgage insurers, more than it is for banks, most mortgage insurers will want you to have 5% what they call genuine savings. And that's money that you've saved up over a period of at least 3 months. Pretty short time to save up 5%, but anyway, 3 months is it. However, there's a couple of lenders out there that will do what they call borrower's contribution. Minimum 5%, funds from any source, as long as it's not borrowed. So you might go, "Look, I had a car, I sold it. I've got $20,000.
So gifting
That's in my
from the other
deposit."
Gift
In that scenario, gift is okay.
And when do they actually discard the purchase price? How many months or years do the banks discard the purchase price?
As far as revaluation?
In regards to the borrowing, for treating the 80%. So, for instance, on day one, on datum 0,
yeah,
they would treat the purchase price, the lower of the two, the purchase price for the value of the property.
Correct.
For the 80%.
Yeah.
So, say if you buy the property for your daughter,
yeah,
then how many months or how many years before you can actually throw it out to the wolves or throw it out to the bank before they treat the 20% as being earned?
6 months.
6 months, and then they do a valuation after 6 months.
So if you bought a property below market value, so it's worth 400, you paid 350 for it, right? And you've got a contract for 350. The bank will accept that the value of the property is 350 because that was its market price. After 6 months, you can then go back and get it revalued again, and assuming that everything's the same in the market, then potentially it'd be revalued again back at 400 because that's actually its true value. Just so happens that you bought it for 350 6 months ago.
And that's using a bank panel valuer.
Yes.
And the equity then is treated as being earned or saved?
Either. Doesn't matter, it's treated as equity.
Okay.
And once you've gone past that magic 6 months, then they really don't care anymore after that. Their issue mostly, and it's mostly to do with the mortgage insurers more than it is the banks, but their issue is they figure that if you've had a gift and you've got the grant and you're using that to buy a property, that you've got no buy-in. You haven't suffered any pain, sweated any blood. And if it all got too hard, you just go, "Oh, here's a piece, it's too hard, I don't want to do it anymore." You have it. And walk away. And they go, "Well, we don't want your house, we just want your loan." Right? So So they want to know that you've got some skin in the game, some buy-in. And by that, it's usually money that you've saved, or you've got some commitment, you've got some hurt. If you walked away, there's a chance that you would lose. But if you had it all given to you, you need to walk away and, you've got nothing, it didn't matter, I didn't suffer any pain, it was a gift. I just hand it in and walk away. But if you save that money out yourself over a period of a couple of years, you're not going to walk away that easy. And that's what they're counting on.
Is the banks often ask for PGs from the parents for children?
For
PGs?
personal guarantees?
Yes.
Unusual these days. They used to be able to do guarantors, parental guarantors, with parents offering their income as support. The income support is pretty much now gone since the changes to legislation with National Consumer Credit Protection Act, NCCP, which came in January. The parental guarantees for servicing support are pretty much outgone. But they will still do parental guarantees for security support. In other words, mum and dad might say, well, we've got a house, it's worth 400,000, we only owe 50, can't we use that to help our kids? And the banks go, yep, no worries, we'll take security over mum and dad's house as well. So now kids and mum and dad, they've got property worth 900,000. And the loan is, well, they're going to borrow the whole amount, they're going to borrow the whole 500 plus 50, so the loan's 550,000 against 900 worth of security. What's that? 68%, something like that. So we're below 80, so no mortgage insurance. But the banks, they'll take guarantee out of mum and dad's house as well.
The banks permit a second mortgage on the house?
Yeah.
So parents can also leave the other 20% as a second mortgage.
They can.
And the banks would just have that first 80%.
Correct. What I like to do if I'm doing those, we're really starting to get into first home buyer territory here, because this is the strategy that first home buyers use, really not so much investors. But what I'll do is you've got mum and dad, they've got their house worth 500, and they might owe 100. Kids want to buy a house, it might be 400, and they want to borrow the whole 400. You've got no deposit, mum and dad are going to help. Right? So what I would do in this scenario, instead of borrowing the kids 400 and tying mum and dad up like that, so now mum and dad are responsible for the 400 as much as what the kids are. Right? I do this. I'll do 320 for the kids, 80%, and the kids are the only borrowers. Their property, their loan for 320. Then I do another loan over here with mum and dad, and we do 80 grand here, and we use the 2 properties, and this is the kids as the borrowers, and mum and dad as the guarantor. So mum and dad's exposure is 80 grand, not the whole 400.
Yeah. I'm talking about actually placing a physical second mortgage on the property
Yes.
as well, because...
So this might be Bank ANZ, and this might be CBA. Right? ANZ will hold the first registered mortgage, and CBA will come in and do a second registered mortgage, but only for 80,000.
Yeah, I think one of the main reasons is that if your children are in a de facto situation, relationship, and the other person doesn't contribute or put any money or any deposit in, it just leaves you wide open that the money that is actually lost is not only your children, but it's also your own money. So hence the reason why you don't want to actually put all the money into a property and then find that the money is actually lost if they split up. So hence you want to actually...
Okay, you can do protection for that. And the protection for that is on the kid's house, you do what's called a deed of priority. Alright? So what that means is mum and dad would register a deed of priority on the kid's house to the tune of 80,000. Alright? So, if they split up and this house gets sold, CBA will first of all come and take their 320,000.
Yeah.
Then mum and dad effectively have got a second registered mortgage. That's what a deed of priority is. Alright? Then mum and dad get their 80, and then the kids get what's left. protects mum and dad.
Because it's very hard to actually force their children to actually do it's not a prenup, it's, what do they call it? I don't know what it's called before you get married.
Yeah, prenup.
Yeah, well, if they're not married, but you want him to put an agreement where
Yeah.
the others...
This is a better way to do it.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Because it's registered after the mortgage. It's done after.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. I've just about finished my list.
Alright.
We're on time, are we?
We are.
Good. I'll be hanging around for a little bit afterwards, have a cold drink or something. Got
Yeah.
questions? Talk to me. Or we'll do it one-on-one if you've got more, need more info. Cool.
Alright. Thanks, Alan. Gentlemen, thanks very much for coming along tonight to Aussie, and thanks to our speakers as well. We'll be around for a little while for some refreshments and cold drinks, so feel free to stay around and ask any questions you have. If you've got mortgage questions, see Alan or myself. I'm also a broker here at Aussie, so I'm more than happy to answer your questions. And thanks again for coming along tonight.